The Toronto Raptors are missing their most valuable and effective weapon, their home court advantage and their fans. Yo guys, what's going on? Today we're going to talk about why I think the biggest reason for the Raptors to make a significant improvement and jump from last season is going to be their hometown, Toronto. Over the course of the last 2 years, COVID has definitely hurt a lot of teams. The lack of fans, the lack of travel, and when players catch COVID, they have to be out for a couple of weeks, and that hurts, especially when you play 5 to 6 games in that time span. But let's be honest, the team that got hurt the most were the Toronto Raptors. Because in technicality, the Raptors are an international team, they have to follow different rules and regulations than any other team. One of which is the COVID rule of international travel, where if you do travel internationally, you're automatically placed into COVID protocol. Now at the time, what that meant was you would have to sit out for a few weeks, regardless if you had COVID or not, and you have to isolate yourself. Well, if the Raptors try to play in Toronto, that just wouldn't work because they just have to forfeit all their games. So instead, the NBA allowed them to relocate to a different town.
The virus has forced Canada's only NBA team to play out its season in the U.S. The Toronto Raptors have relocated to Tampa, Florida because of complications crossing the border.
The move to Amalie Arena wasn't easy. In fact, they had to do all of this, and the fact that it was so sudden didn't make it any easier. They had to accommodate everything for the Raptors in a 2-week timeline. Not only were they playing in Amalie Arena, but they were also staying at a hotel right next door. And the interesting thing was, they turned that hotel into their practice facility. They turned a ballroom into the court, they turned some of the other rooms into locker rooms, and essentially were living out of a hotel. Eventually, when the NBA announced that their move to Tampa was permanent for that season, many of the players decided to relocate to homes to increase their quality of life so they could be more mentally prepared and more emotionally stable for the games that they have to yet to play. But let's be honest, Tampa is nothing compared to Toronto. And the fact of the matter is, as many fans as there were in Tampa for the Raptors is nothing compared to what they have back at home. Even if the arena had limited capacity, just knowing that your hometown crowd is with you for your home game is huge. I mean, just listen to one of the greatest players, LeBron James, talk about the home crowd.
First of all, do you hear this? Do you hear this? Unbelievable respect and much respect to these fans, to this country. This is unbelievable. I've never been a part of something like this in my 13-year career. This is special.
Now, some context for this video. This happened after they lost in a clinching game. So they were done for this season, and the Raptors fans were still giving their home team a standing ovation, giving them respect, and letting them know that they're thankful for playing their hearts out. Say what you want about LeBron, but the fact that the Raptors fans were so good, so energized, so elated that he had to speak on them is an accomplishment of itself. That's respect from one of the greatest players to ever to play on the court. But let's look at some facts. Over the last 10 years, since the 2011-2012 season, the Raptors have boasted a 67.7% win percentage at home. And this does exclude this last season because they weren't even playing at home this last season. A 67.7 win percentage is good enough to not only get you in the finals, but to always place you in a top 3 seed. The Raptors are great at home, and the fans are the reason they're so great. Now you could argue that every team was going through this, that every team was going to their home team stadium and there weren't that many fans. The energy wasn't there, the feel, the hype, everything that goes into a game was missing. But let's be honest, by the time the season was coming to an end, most of the arenas were packed. And more importantly, the Raptors weren't even playing in Toronto. They're playing down south, miles away from their fandom in Tampa. This last season, the Raptors honestly weren't a really good team. But let's be honest, the team is better than their record implies. This upcoming season, the Raptors will be back home with Toronto. And after missing out on watching their team for a whole year, what do you think the fans are going to do this year? They're going to go fucking crazy. Every home game, the fans are going to bring their A game, which as a result will make the Raptors bring their A game. That kind of energy that fans bring into the stadium is contagious. Newcomers like Gary Trent, Precious, Scotty Barnes, Malachi Flynn will understand what it is like to play for the Toronto Raptors. Play in front of their fans. Play using their fans' energy. There's a reason Pascal Siakam doesn't want to leave Toronto, and I guarantee you, the fans and the city is the #1 reason on his list. So how big of an impact do you think playing in Toronto is going to make for this team? Let me know in the comments below. And if you listen to Drake's new album, leave a like and subscribe, because I know you're about that energy. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.